Right guys, it's going to be a 1080 Master Nightfall solo on the Titan without using any pinnacle weapons and things like that. We're using double primary with a rocket launcher. Reason is for something different. This isn't the most effective loadout, but it'll work. You could swap out the two-tailed fox, exotic rocket launcher that I'm using, or Deathbringer. Deathbringer is very powerful on champions and things like that. I was thinking about using it, plus you get more ammo with it when you use rocket launcher reserves. So that's an alternative, but I just fancied trying out what this rocket launcher can do with champions and stuff. Turns out it's really good. So we're using the kinetic auto rifle, false promises, the arc overload bow, like I say, the rocket launcher. It shoots 2 rockets, so even though it'll say it's 1 in the magazine, technically it's 2. It's shooting 2 rockets, and it's doing 2 things. So the void rocket, there's a void rocket and solar rocket. The void rocket's suppressing the enemy, and the solar rocket's doing an additional damage over time. Now, I don't know if the void rocket suppression is going to do anything to champions, like extend their duration between shield breaks. I very much doubt it, but it will definitely work on other targets, not so much champions. But the sheer amount of damage it does to champions is really good. Now, like on my hunter run, well, we skipped all the infant forest, obviously it's easy to do so. On a Titan you're going to struggle to do that. If you're coming up against snipers, like right here for example, you're best off just taking them out. This is not a time run. Master runs are good for that, as people aren't pressured to get a run done in less than 20 minutes. You can take your time, still get a 100k, you know, as long as it's not like an hour. You're still going to get a 100k, and plus you're not timed on platinum. If you're just going for the platinum and not the 100k, then you can take as long as you want. Right now we're just taking out the all these harpies and stuff, as there's a couple of modifiers that are on that affects harpies, things like that. Flying targets do increase damage. That just counts for the enemy as far as I've seen. I haven't fully tested it, but it looks like if we start jumping up, right, maybe firing a rocket, we don't get any sort of buff with it. Which, it should be a double-edged sword. So it should be called, D1 it was called Airborne. I guess it's slightly modified because it's... Need to be clear about these modifiers. Are they affecting just the ads or us? Like, I know that it's not, I know it's affecting the ads, but they're not clear in the descriptions. So that's something they need to sort out, and maybe add a couple of new modifiers, and maybe change them up, make them more of a double-edged sword type of thing. Bring back prism, things like that. That's things that they need to do, because the modifiers are getting a little bit stale. I like the unique modifiers for the bosses for each Nightfall. They have their own Nightfall that way, but outside of that they need to start bringing in some of the modifiers. There's a load of modifiers on the heroic adventures, but they're not using them. There's all sorts of things. Elemental damage increased, energy weapons increased. It's like all these interesting modifiers, they're just not using them. They could put them in Nightfalls. So right now we're being careful. We're on the last plate. We're getting heavy finishes, so that's something I haven't spoke about my perks. So one perk I have on my class armor, which you kind of need on a build like this because there's no hive, no taken, no way to get your ammo back guarantee. However, we're just using double primary and a heavy. You're gonna see an increase in getting bricks. Plus, I've got a heavy ammo finder on. However, for extra added protection on this loadout, put a heavy ammo finisher on, which is available to everybody on the artifact. So it costs 7, but that's fine. We don't need a Press of Darkness. We're on a arc subclass, so this also plays into my idea that we're on a Titan, an arc striker Titan, which used to be a meta. Not so much now. Not in endgame. But it has a good neutral game with double pulse grenade. Like I say, you can shoulder charge, get your health back at certain points. It's also really good for this Nightfall because pulse grenades can critical hit Cyclopses. And that includes the boss, because the boss is just a big Cyclops. So It's really good for that. And plus, we're not using our super. The super's not very good. All that super energy can be converted into heavy ammo for us at any time we need it. That's the forest clear. Like I said, it's going to take you 5-6 minutes, something like that. There's certain places you can skip, especially if there's ads fighting each other, like Fallen and Vex fighting each other. You can skip them. But this area here, there's going to be no champions as soon as we go to the portal. There'll be no champions in this particular area, so you can skip this. And the way to do that is coming around to this right side ledge. Do not jump until you need to, as the modifier is on. But when you jump, avoid an aerial damage increase, basically. That's the way to skip that. You don't need to kill them, you don't need them to score, you don't need them for platinum. So there's no point. So it's an easy skip, you'll get it every time as long as you do that. These ads, however, you do not want to skip. Harpies are dangerous, especially if you shoot the box and go up the elevator. You can also farm them for charge of light, which I'm doing so now. I got my ×2. This is without stacks on stacks as well, so you get ×2 anyways. As long as you got, you know, like a shield break or a counter charge, you'll get your charge like ×2. These are our first two champions to deal with, 2 anti-barriers. First we'll take out the harpies, as they'll just get in the way of what you're trying to do. Then again, we're keeping our charge with light, so we've got ×2, so starting on a good part. Now this tree here, if you cover, it's on both champions. So I'm primarying the first champion to save on ammo sort of thing, and use our rocket while we're after the first stun, basically. As you can see, the damage it does. I know this is buffed with charge with light, so that's an extra 20%. But that's still a lot. That's still a lot right there. Like I said, if you're using Deathbringer, probably even more. The thing is with Deathbringer, it's a little harder to use. And I imagine it would be a little difficult to use it at the boss because of where we're standing. That was another reason. But I'll use a Deathbringer type run in another Nightfall, maybe next week or so. Depending on what it is. Oh, it's corrupted, isn't it? Maybe not. So we're going back for a heavy brick, I believe, as I remember getting brick to drop. Always because of your ammo. I've only got 5. I've got 1 rocket launcher reserve on with a counter charge, so I've got no room for an extra one. So it's bad in that sense, but like I said, each rocket's 2. I've technically got 10 rockets. Think about it. Want to skip this Hydra, don't need him. We would just farm and charge with light. So make sure you let the arc elemental shield burst kill the harpy to maintain your charge of light. As we're going to use charge of light on this Minotaur here. He's the only key target to be killed. Nothing else needs to be killed here. So we'll do 1 pulse grenade, 1 shot, 2-tailed. That'll take him out. And we can take the box. This is risky. So what you could have done is go behind a rock. There's a rock to my left. Wait for health. Then take the box and then go through. Same again, we're going to keep our charge with light, so that our primary can do more damage. And that we can take shields from a further distance. That also helps with your damage, like prepping champions and stuff. Plus we've got it twice, so you know we've got 3 anti-barriers in that room, but there's another 2 anti-barriers to spawn up. We get a rocket. We can take this champion from here. It's not a problem. You've got to strafe in and out for the champion behind him. See, I got hit there, but fine to get hit once, just not twice. So now we'll sprint towards this area here. This is the next safe part. It's quite urgent that you take this champion out quickly, so I use the rocket straight away. Just gonna rocket the champ down, as there is harpies and that boomer knight as well. This, not boomer knight, but boomer champion. Some champions are more dangerous than others. This champion here, the splash damage because of the modifier is a lot. As you can see, one shot got me 40% health left. Position has to be on point here because there's harpies. So you don't want the harpies shooting you while the champion is. Plus we've got enhanced auto rifle loader on, which really helps. And rocket launcher loader on, which helps. So the next two additional champions won't spawn in until you take out the arc harpies. Put a bow on for that. We'll also get an additional orange bar harpy, which you want to take that before the champions. You want to take things in order, so that you're not multitasking too many enemies at once. Now we're just waiting for the champions to position themselves. They'll eventually back up to the stairs, which is kind of where we want them anyways. And they'll strafe in and out, and on top of each other as well. So we're just waiting for the best time to sort of go in. We'll bait out the first shield, like I said, with primaries. We get our charge with light, one pulse grenade. One of my rockets hit in front of me, so that was. We're standing a little too close to that ledge, that's what that was. Yeah, finish off that champ. We can just take out all these champs with double primary. With the how powerful Season of Dawn mods are, Charge of Light mods, I could just prime them down. Wouldn't be a problem, but like I say, we're not going to do that. We don't want to extend it too long. It was already long enough of a run. We're gonna. What I should have done there is finish him. On this first time I'm watching it back, but we did have a brick on the floor. But ideally, I should have finished that champ for more ammo. So now we're gonna have some fanatics spawning on the stairs. Kind of problem. As soon as we go around these stairs, of course, the first overload's gonna spawn in. Only 2 overload champions here. I did stagger him, but I'm not planning to take him out yet. There's too many adds in this area. So you'd be just wasting ammo trying to take out the overload straight away. It's possible, but you're increasing the risk of the adds getting you as they wreck. I mean, I've got a couple of minor resist mods on as well. Concussive dampener. A couple of weapon mods, rocket launcher scavenger, heavy ammo finder. And they're with energy fire mods and stuff. Now we're baiting out the Minotaur to the stairs, as it separates him from the adds. So that is interesting to me, because this, like I said, this is the first time I'm watching it back, but I actually took quite a long time to fire my second rocket, and he wasn't regenerating his health. So whether the void suppression from Two-Tailed does something, might be. Because I'm guaranteeing most of the rockets that hit the overload would have started regenerating his health there. So I don't know. It's like I said, this is my first time watching it. I'm just doing it with a different loadout. I haven't used this rocket launcher in ages, so it's just interesting. I mean, there'll be a couple of times I get lucky with these overloads. They're probably the hardest to take out with a rocket launcher. The anti-barrier is not a problem. It's mainly the overloads, depending on how they push you, where you're standing. Okay, so the next section can be awkward, but depending on how you take it, you can make it easier for yourself. So how we're going to take this room is we're going to bypass the Minotaurs and come to this location. You might get an overload push you. If you do, just stagger him and run away. You do not want to be taking that overload there at all. Save on your ammo, as what happens in a couple of moments is really good, where the overloads actually gather up, which I never, at the time of doing it, I never thought it would happen. Like, I never anticipated it. But right now what we're trying to do is take this crate with full health and then run to the back of the map. Then up these stairs, and then we'll have a good angle on the 2 anti-barrier champions that spawn in. They don't spawn in until you take that crate. But it's the best, safest angle to take them from. First one down. We got a heavy brick to drop there as well, which is really good. Try and bait the champion out a little bit. Takes a bit of time, he'll move out. We'll do a rocket straight away, as these anti-barrier champions are dangerous. They can still hit us from this angle. Just depends where they're situated. Plus we'll charge with light, so trying to hit him first with a rocket. So that's the 2 anti-barriers dealt with, so we can forget about that. Now we have 3 overload Minotaurs. Yeah. Now this is like the best clip of the whole Nightfall. I can't believe Two-Tail took out solo basically 3 overload champions. And that's not me, it's the weapon. 1 overload champion started regenerating a little bit, but they're taking shared damage. As you can see there, only 2 rockets, a couple of bow shots. They gather up nicely. It's something I just figured out on this run as doing it. I kind of forgot they push up so much. I didn't think all 3 would be standing there. I thought maybe 2 would be and 1 of them would be at the back of the map. But no, they all push up, so that's probably the best way to do this area. On this loadout at least. If I hadn't had ammo there, I would have just bored each individual Minotaur down. Took them out that way. You don't need to use heavy on them, it just speeds up the process. Now be sure to pick up any ammo bricks. If you had any ammo bricks in previous rooms, pick them up as well. Important that you go on. We need a max ammo, but however, like I say, the heavy finisher is your safety net. You're never using your super much. The only time I ever use my super in this is like for urgent times or for the damage resistance. That's the main thing we use these Roman supers for in endgame. It's not for so much ag clear. Because you get wrecked in endgame, especially like Grandmasters. If you start using your Striker Titan, it's not even viable. So the only time we're using it is for the damage resistance. That's the best thing of it. But the damage they do, especially Striker Titan, it's not very good. Which they need to look at these subclasses. We're going to be getting these new subclasses in November, but the worry is they're just going to forget about everything else. You can see it happening, like in terms of balancing them and making subclasses strong. They're just going to forget about them. But fine, we'll play with the new subclasses, see what they're like. Hopefully they're good for solo play. So this angle right here is basically reversing it so that we can deal with the overload Minotaur without him pushing us because we're up above. And it's just a good way, a better way of doing it. Rather than going up that hill, just jump up that puzzle area. Not so hard. And then you can take out the Minotaur easily from up here. Trying to save on ammo here. I think I'm going for a finisher kill as well. That's demonstrating how to take out a Minotaur without any heavy, just the bow. Like I say, as long as you've got a good vantage point, you're just hitting them over and over. And you do not need to have the bow with explosive on. Explosive just does that extra amount of damage. I'd say a good bow would be pointing the Stag Iron Banner pinnacle. He's got Vorpal. So this angle right here is the same angle I've took on previous runs. Works the same. We go in first with a pulse and a rocket, then swap immediately to our auto. To get the shield break instant. I say one rocket, auto rifle shots gets them nearly finishable. So this time we do get the finisher kill. That's good. Plus we have a brick on the floor, so we can always come back here. Which I do have rocket launcher Scavenger on, but I'm only getting like 2 shots per brick. So whereas other rockets you can get up to 3, especially if you got like a field prep rocket, which would work in this. Bad omens would work definitely. If you have a good bad omen with cluster, maybe tracking or field prep, that would work just as well. I mean, I'm not sure the damage on it, but I'm sure it would do decent damage per shot. This is our first anti-barrier to deal with. This is the best angle to deal with him. As you saw, he never hit me, hardly. We're not edging past the stairs because how this room works, once you edge past the stairs, you spawn in harpies. Once you go past the harpies, that spawns in the box, the bubble, and all the minotaurs. With a bunch of goblins. Which we don't want to do that. We want to free up the room as much as we can. Just working on the harpies still. We're farming Chads with light off them as well. Oh, we lost it there, so that's what ideally I should have done is took the sniper to the right first. We're not going to do with the boomer to my left. He's dangerous. We don't want to be doing anything with him yet because there's all these adds to worry about. There's 2 void shielded minotaurs. One of them will push, one of them will stay back. Also there's 2 overload minotaurs. One of them will push, one of them won't. Just the way their AI works. It's quite smart, to be honest. There's a lot of some of the AI is smart in this game, really good at times. This is where it's hard for these this room, but we used a pulse grenade and a rocket shot on the first stun to then get a quick reload and then finish off with the second rocket. So like I say, I think maybe the void suppression or the solar damage over time is stopping that regen for that extra 1 or 2 seconds, enabling us to get a second rocket off. Because generally their minotaurs would be on 1080. They're regenning. They're definitely regenning at that point. Something I could have put on is overload oh no, and only on the void subclass. But if you are running a void subclass, if you have overload grenades on, they do less damage against you. But I guess if you do with the bow the same thing, you're overloading them, they're doing less damage. Now we're trying to bait out the second overload. We'll deal with the anti-barriers at the last opportunity and the overloads first. We're going to do a first stagger there, as seeing that these overloads can be risky to take out. That gives us time to get more damage in while in cover, and we got to finish a kill on him. We can do that with that Minotaur because there's no more adds. It's safe to do it like that. Now we're just scoping out the area, as once you start to push this champion, you'll have adds push you, goblins, if there's some up. This is the best angle to take out champion. This champion can sometimes spawn on the right side. Because this champion's urgent to take out, we're going in with heavy first, grenade and everything. Probably should have done a rocket right off the bat there, but I was trying to play the safer game. But yeah, I ended up using a rocket anyways, so... There was a goblin that was firing at me. Check safe. The champion gets you one shot can be bad. Yeah, that's pretty much this area done. We'll have the yellow bar ultra to deal with as usual. A void shielded minotaur and the last anti-barrier champion. So this section isn't so bad as long as you're taking the right angles, playing it safe with the minotaurs, baiting them when you need to. If they get you one shot or something and you've stunned them, go back downstairs. You can actually jump back down to where we just was. We're going to use some heavy on this minotaur as we want to take him down really. Don't want to mess about with him because of the modifier, void, burn or whatever being on. We're going to pick up some ammo. We want to leave this area with near to max ammo. So we're just using rocket launcher when we need to. We have to use it on this void minotaur. Void shield. What would be interesting with Two-tailed Fox is if it works on solar shielded match game shields. Since it does do solar. I think it does solar and void, but I have to test that on a Nightfall. This is a good angle to take out this the last anti-barrier champion. Just in front of the stairs. Now we're filling back up on our ammo. We have a super, plus we have max ammo, so we're gonna use the super. This is one instance where the super is useful. As this section, you'll have just 2 champions to kill, but there's a lot of fanatics that push you. So it's kind of handy to take them out. Let's use my super on some of the things, and then as soon as we're done with that, we want some super energy left to come back to this area safely. And we're pushing up to this area here, just in case the minotaurs were to push. If they were, they wouldn't be able to get me. What we're waiting on is the wanted target to leave. Because what can happen here is 2 overloads can push you at the same time. That's fine if you can get them, but if the wanted target pushes as you're dealing with that, you'll be in trouble. So since we're on a half decent run, I wanted to play it safe and let the arc harpy leave. A way of speeding it up as well would be to deal a bit of damage. I didn't want to use any rockets on the wanted target either, as we want plenty of ammo for the boss. Like I said, this isn't the most effective loadout. I've done this run 6 weeks ago when it was in rotation with where Togetherness was on, which I used a completely different loadout. Probably a more effective loadout than what I've got. But this loadout was just interesting to me, so it helps me do runs. It helps me come back to D2 and I don't get bored. And that's the main thing. If I'm not getting burned out and I'm not getting bored, and that's a big plus. So I saw that 2 were pushing me. It's a big no. We can't do it with rockets. Not when they're pushing us like that. If we've got a good vantage point on them, we can, like we did earlier with the 3, but not here. So we're trying to bait out just the 1. We get the stun, do a pulse grenade and a shot. Now I've just seen, now watching it back, this is how you learn stuff. This is how I learn stuff as well. I noticed just then he has a suppression field. Unless he has that suppression field anyways. Like he had a little dark thing above his... Maybe that's just because he's overloaded then. Thinking it was maybe because of suppression from the rocket. Yeah, I think it's just that. I think that's just the little black aura above his head is just the overload thing. It would take more testing to see what does the void suppression do anything to these champs. I would like to know, but anyways, with the boss fight, so we're gonna utilize the Minotaur technique, which does not work for me. So there's a little RNG with it. I don't do anything wrong, and the boss still shoots at me. Somebody recently asked me about this. What's the extra tips you can give about this cheese? I mean, yeah, it is cheese. It is a cheese, to be honest with this. But it's a cheese I don't mind using. It's not like God mode, solo grandmaster thing. It's not like to that level. It's just it's a solo run. It's a master run. You're just going for your rewards. So at this point, we're not bothered. I've been playing Garnwell for like 3 years, so I'm not really bothered what I do with it. I've done pretty much everything with this.
Just pulled the plug on the Spire's arc network.
That there is.
So
I would be too.
What you want to do is crouch behind, in between the Minotaur's legs. What ended up happening to me on this run is that the boss is in a state of wanting to keep firing at me. So you'll see me try to reset him, and I remember in the past I have done it where I've reset him when I've been messing about in the strike as a whole doing things. And a way to reset him is just to try over Minotaurs. Try and get his attention, and then as he's just fired, duck behind one of the Minotaurs. And it can reset him sometimes. On this run it doesn't end up resetting him. But what you'll find is, even if you don't get it to work, you can still manage to get around it, which I did. I didn't think I would. I thought this run was a wipe at this point. I was like, oh well, I'm gonna have to do it a slower way. Right now we're just testing, seeing if we can manipulate him. This is usually the Minotaur used to do. It would stop him from firing. So I've noticed he's in his firing state, so it's not gonna work. This build can be awkward as well from where you're shooting, because it's rocket, so you've got to be careful you don't rocket the Minotaur you're standing next to. But we're not going to utilise that. We'll utilise it on the next phase. It's just too dangerous, as he'll just get us in just a load of ads spawning. So we'll take it as we would normally. Now we're just priming the boss, getting the some ads to spawn in. There'll be ads spawn to my left, and then in front of me the portal. This area right here is safe because it's safe from the boss. And safe from most of the ads as well. Just take them safely with a bow. We're also getting our super up, which we can use that as safety, because now now I've saw that the boss is sort of buggy. I have to be careful. So we use a double pulse grenade and then a rocket. This will send the boss. At this point, I didn't know what the boss was going to do. I just used super. If he's rotating and you're unsure if you're going to survive and you have a super, use it. Like I said, these Roman supers aren't strong in endgame, but what they are strong for is staying alive, damage resistance. That's what they're strong for. The boss is going to rotate all the way around. Luckily, I had enough cover there. I mean, I ducked behind that Minotaur and he still shot me, so he's definitely in a bug state. Well, not so much bug state, but what I'm trying to do, it's not working on him. Ideally, I should have probably reset the run and showed what it's like when he's not shooting at you. But on my previous hunter run, you'll be able to see that. So if you want to see what he's like, the boss is like when they're not shooting, then just check the hunter run prior to this. So what the Minotaur, like where I'm standing right now, he's working on the ads. So the ads aren't shooting at me. As you notice, once I start to step out, they will. Now, I could have used a shoulder charge in these bubbles, but the reason why I'm not doing that is because the shoulder charge damage will chain to the crate, then making the Minotaur active. Can't have that because it still adds up. I mean, I could have done it if I had a super. If I didn't use my super early and then supered the Minotaur, that would have been fine. That's why we're playing it slow. Also, we're going to use a pulse nade here because that's dangerous, that part. Just to get the two mages at the front of the map. Got them both, it's good. Got a brick on the floor which we'll pick up later. Now we'll just take out some of the rest of the ads. Most of them are down, they're just over in that other side of the bubble. Got 4 goblins to take. Once we do that, we'll then take out the first Minotaur, which will be the one to my left, not the one I'm at. We'll come back to the Minotaur that I was just in to do DPS. You don't want to go over the other side. Reason for that is the angle of the walls that spawn up in this map will be in your way to do damage. Especially with a rocket like this, you need a straight angle, and even the angle that I'm going to be going to isn't the best. But it's still better than the other side. So you want to take out the, we'll call him the left side Minotaur first, and leave the right Minotaur alive. As we take down the crate, we'll do a pulse grenade and a rocket. As learning that from earlier, that gets the Minotaur weak or one shot. He likely didn't stand in my pulse grenade long enough, and we can finish him. Now we've got 3 rockets, so we'll go for the brick on the floor. Good. Now we can farm, you can also farm pulse grenade energy off the offline Minotaurs and shoulder charge them, like so. You will lose your shoulder charge, but we're not needing it at this point for anything. Make sure you got double pulse, because your pulse grenade will do a lot of damage. So with this part, you need to take down the crate and 180 and go to this Minotaur and crouch. Crouch in the legs. That's how you do it. It still doesn't work for me, but it works for the Minotaur. The boss is still in that state of wanting to fire me. So this wasn't ideal. Plus, like I said, the angle's not the best for this weapon. A sniper would have been way better. Or with a horde or something like that. Or a linear fusion. As you can see, the boss can still hit me, so we're just we're having to sort of compensate for that. So just peek out now and then. Plus the angle for the rockets isn't the best, as I think sometimes the rocket hits that wall, or one of them. Yeah, one did see. So it can be annoying this bit, but your double pulse grenade's doing a lot of the damage, which is good. Peek out, do 1 rocket, peek back in. It is heavy on the floor in front of me, but it's not worth to be picking up. It's not worth to do it. The boss is 1 shot. We'll peek and do a couple of shots, but our next pulse grenade will sort of finish off the boss. So this is at least showing you when things go wrong with this technique, you can still get round it. As long as the Minotaur is not stomping you off map. If you were to leave it long and not sort of sprint to this Minotaur after the crate being took down, then the Minotaur is going to recognise you're there. It's on a timer for that. So that was the solo 1080 master on Titan without the use of any pinnacle weapons. It was with double primary and a rocket launcher, like I said. Just a different type of run. It's not the most effective run, but it's showing you the angles, how to deal with all the champs and all that stuff for your platinum rewards. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
Oh, Dendron, right. You're so good at cleaning up Osiris's messes. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. Now get out of there before the simulation shuts down.